Pokemon Infinite Fusion is a game that allows you to combine any two Pokemon. It's a simple concept, but extremely well executed. So, today, I'm going to be doing a randomized playthrough. To start off, I named my trainer and set all the randomizations to the insane setting. I don't really know what that means, but it sounds fun. I then skipped the opening cutscene, which led us straight to our rival's name. For this, I put in Thod, who is a long-time subscriber that you may have seen in the comment section before. Afterwards, we are placed straight into the professor's lab to choose our starter Pokemon. Our first option was Frost Dude, but it didn't have a picture, so I'm not gonna pick that. Second option is a Clink Poke, which looks pretty cool, and honestly, I kinda love it. And last up, we had a Tentaoxys. And yeah, that's kind of insane. I could have a mythical fusion right off the bat. So, I of course chose that. In this video, I'm naming all my Pokemon after people I see in the comments section. So, this Pokemon's name will be Rini, after this user. Of course, our rival Thod wanted a battle. Only downside is, he chose Frost Dude, which doesn't even have a picture. After a bunch of poison damage, we secured our first win. On the way to fetch Oak's parcel, our wild Pokemon encounters consisted of a Probo Jr. and Jiggly-Sire. Also, as I stopped to take some notes, a Pidgey landed on my head, which gave us the Pidgey nest as a hat. So, we're totally gonna rock that for a while. After delivering the parcel, I headed straight for the optional second rival battle. Along the way, I ran into an Umbreon, so I had to catch it, which I then named Smug Joe. After the viewer, Joe was very smug. There was a ton of amazing sprite arts to choose from for this Pokemon, but I decided to use this one for now. I then encountered a Zwinair, which will probably have an epic final evolution. So, I caught that as well, and named it Hot Meat. Named after commenter Hot Meat. Upon fighting rival Thought again, he now had a Bew, which is kinda crazy. He got his own mythical too. However, he still got wrecked. On our path to the first gym, the wild Pokemon I came across were Nintz, Fearno, Togabell, and a Bungon. Yeah, I'm probably gonna butcher a lot of these names. The Togabell looked kinda cool, but I'm gonna wait to add our next teammate after beating Brock. Once inside the gym, one trainer had a Manperior, and the other had a Umaor, plus an Unoxus. Unoxus? I don't even know. Either way, I swept through them pretty easy and was ready to go face Brock. In this game, you can only face the gym leader with the same amount of Pokemon that the leader has. So, since I could only use two, I decided Rini and Smug Joe would be my best picks. Brock led off with an Omling, which had me puzzled for a while, because I know it's Omni-Knight, but I could only think of Chingling for the Ling part, and I don't know where they got those legs from. Out next came Shilron, which had a pretty awesome custom sprite. However, having access to water moves made this gym easy. Now, on to Mount Moon. The first wild Pokemon I encountered was a Poripoke, and it looked epic. So, I had to add it to the team. This fusion had a bunch of different custom sprites, but I decided to stick with this one. I then named it V-Gray, after this commenter. For my wild encounters, I ran into Pitnally and Umblax, which I wanted to catch, but already have an Umbreon fusion on the team. The rest of the wild Pokemon were ones we'd already seen before. The trainers on the way had Sandwig, this thing, Noracario, which looked pretty sick, Polybull, and this cursed looking Tyrus. Upon entering Mount Moon, I came across Ivyran, Beasaur, and a Hootpie. I avoided most of the trainer battles since I was already at a decent level and didn't want to sweep through the entire game too fast. Right before the Mount Moon exit, we found Team Rocket doing some shady business by trying to fuse 3 Pokemon together. However, the machine blew up and saved us from whatever cursed creation a Rattata, Ekans, and Sandshrew would have made. Arriving in Cerulean City, we find our rival Thud, whose team now has a Wimvarna, Frosler, Duskmo-O, and lastly, a Braitz. That looks pretty adorable. Funny enough, after beating everyone on Nugget Bridge, if you select yes when the grunt asks you to join Team Rocket, you'll receive a Rocket uniform, and he tells you to go check out some warehouse. This was a neat add-on, so I had to go check it out. Once here, you're tasked with taking out a bunch of Wimpod. And upon completing this, the guy will ask you for your name, where you're given the option to present a fake name. So of course, I had to give a fake name, which was not Jay Worley. Yep, they'll never catch me. With that, it gives you another mission, but at this point, I realize these are just side missions that I don't think I have to complete. But I might check them out later. Probably not though. For now, I went to the Pokemart to buy a bunch of Pokefusers and see what kind of combinations I can make with my current team. I started off by doing the reverse fusions of what we had, and Rini turned into Deocruel, which I'm totally gonna keep because this looks way better. The reverse of Umbreon and Espeon didn't look as good. However, there were still plenty of unique sprites that you could choose from. I then reversed V-Gray, and yeah, this thing looks terrible. Hot Meat looked pretty cool when reversed, but I like it better the other way. From here, I decided to fuse Porygon and Deoxys. That ended up looking pretty cool, and even had a bunch of custom sprites. However, when I did the reverse of this fusion, it looked like Nightmare Fuel. Okay, time to go take on Misty. And sadly, her team was nothing special. She didn't even have any cool fusions, but we did get our second badge. In the interest of making sure this video isn't a complete nightmare to edit, I'll only be pointing out the more noteworthy fusions going forward. With that settled, I made my way to Bill's for the SSN ticket, where we had to infuse him from a Rhydon. On my way to the next town, I encountered a wild Raideen, which I had to catch, solely for making a sick Rayquaza fusion. A little later, I also caught myself a Licky Licky Blaziken fusion, and Blaziken could be just what I was looking for. So I then proceeded to fuse both Rayquaza and Blaziken together, which made this awesome looking Pokemon that I then named a Mega Man after this commenter. With an awesome new Pokemon joining our team, I made my way down to the SSN, where we can get cut. I really do like how this game refreshed the Kanto map and made subtle but good changes all over the place. While aboard the SSN, one sailor had a pretty sick Lugia and Aerodactyl fusion. I then proceeded to run around the ship for a while, because you couldn't simply just go to the captain's room like in the other games. Instead, you had to go find a key, which was located on the outside of the ship. However, once we found that, our rival Thod shows up again. This time with a team consisting of a Dugile, Ferropunny, Crocozee, and Frosler. One quick pat on the back later, and we acquired Cut. So I made a mad dash straight to the third gym. Inside, the trainers had some pretty cool fusions, like Regichu, and a Lil Coup. Lieutenant Surge's team was also quite good. He had a couple unique fusions and even managed to get me down to my last Pokemon. However, we still got the win. When I came back to the game the next day, it wouldn't launch past the title screen. So, if this video does well, I'll find a way to finish my randomized playthrough. I really hope you enjoyed this video because it was a lot of work to make. So, if you did, leave a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Also, leave a comment, cause I respond to those pretty often. And as always, I'll catch you next time.